Why is it that when one talks about the Trinity, why is it that no one mentions Theophilus of Antioch? He was the first person to coin the word Trinity. And we find the Trinity first mentioned in his writings, in the writings of the Ante-Nicene Fathers. I've read many books on the Ante-Nicene Fathers, both Catholic and Protestant, but no one mentions the tremendous influence that Theophilus of Antioch had on the church and how he brought forth the teaching of the Trinity. Some Protestants even teach that Theophilus did not have a real glimpse of the Trinity, but somewhat of a different kind. But yet, when you study the writings of Theophilus, you find that the first thing he mentions is that the Trinity was a mystery. This is exactly what Trinitarians teach today. So how can they say that he had no grasp on the true meaning of the Trinity when he also called it a mystery? It was Theophilus who started teaching that within God, or out of God, came his word, and along with the word also came wisdom. He says that God begot the word alongside with wisdom. And later on, he teaches on Genesis 1:26, which is a well-known passage that's being used, or misused, I would say, by Trinitarians, to say that God was not alone in creation, but with him was the Son and the Spirit. Well, it was Theophilus who first started saying, using Genesis 1:26, he started saying that with God, when he said in Genesis 1:26, let us, he meant that he was speaking to his word and wisdom. I've heard some people teach that Theophilus did not have a grasp on the Trinity and that he didn't even know about the Spirit. But this is a grave mistake, because all one has to do is study or read his teachings, and you'll find that he believed that the Word, the Logos, was the Son, and he believed that the wisdom was the Holy Spirit. And there's a quote where he says that the Spirit of God was the governing principle. Now, why would he say that the Spirit of God was the governing principle? Where did he get this idea? Where did he get the idea of Genesis 1:26 referring to word and wisdom? There is a character that I've been teaching on for 3 years already, and his name, Philo of Alexandria. And he was the first to start teaching these things. So what I am saying is that Theophilus of Antioch took his ideas from Philo. This is factual, this is historical, and can be proven at any time. Theophilus taught that the 3 days at the beginning of creation, that the 3 days before the luminaries, that they were a type of the Trinity, of God, Word, and wisdom. Where did he get these ideas? Again, as one studies the books and the teachings of Philo of Alexandria, one will find the same exact teachings, including the governing principle, including the 3 days before creation or before the luminaries, and even the words word and wisdom, all stemming from the teachings of Philo of Alexandria. Yes, the powers that Philo of Alexandria saw in his mystical revelation, he called them many names. And in his writings, he calls them word and wisdom. He calls them powers. He calls the third person, or the third power, he calls it the governing principle, the same as Theophilus of Antioch. And yes, Philo of Alexandria also calls them persons. And he always gives examples, for example, the mercy seat. And it teaches that the God, the I am, is in the middle, and the other two powers are to his sides, showing a triangle and showing how there's three. So sometimes God could be seen as one, but at times he could also be seen as three. Now, why is it that no one talks about this Theophilus and about his referring to the writings of Philo of Alexandria? This to me spells or points to a cover-up. How can I say that? Well, I'm not that intelligent. And for me to have found all this evidence, factual information, but to go and study other books on scholars and theologians and never hearing anything from them, to me, it spells or it points to a cover-up. What do you think, YouTuber? Is this a cover-up? Remember, Theophilus of Antioch, the first to coin the word Trinity, took his ideas from none other than Philo of Alexandria.